Here we go. And let's enter lesson 203, which is, I call upon God's name and my own. I call upon God's name and on my own.
I call upon God's name and my own.
The name of God is my deliverance from every thought of evil and of sin, because it is my own as well as His. I'm not a body, I'm free, for I'm still as God created me. If anyone would like to read it again, reaffirm it for yourself.
I am not a body.
Mm.
I am free, for I am still as God created me.
Mm-hmm.
I call upon God's name and on my own. The name of God is my deliverance from every thought of evil and of sin, because it is my own as well as His. I'm not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me.
So what I thought we'd do today, we read the review again, the introduction to review 6, just to make sure that we're doing what we've been asked to do. Yeah, it's always good to double check on this. So if you just go a couple of pages before, for this review, we take but one idea each day and practice it as often as possible. And practice it as often as possible. Beside the time you give morning and evening, which should be not less than 15 minutes, right? I made the daily meditation 15 minutes, so if you like it, you can put it first thing in the morning. It gives you exactly that time, and the same before you go to sleep, just to make it easy, if you fancy that. Those 15 minutes of quiet, focused time, super important. And the hourly, every hour remembrances you make through the day, use the idea as often as you can between them. So he's really calling us to go, okay, land on this. Without doing it, our mind takes over. Each of these ideas alone would be sufficient for salvation if it were learned truly. Each would give enough to give release to you and all the world from every form of bondage, and also invite the memory of God to come again.
With this in mind, we start our practicing in which we carefully review the thoughts the Holy Spirit has bestowed on us in our last 20 lessons. Each contains the whole curriculum. If understood, practiced, accepted, and applied to all the seeming happenings throughout the day, one is enough. But to that one, there must be no exceptions made. And so we need to use them. We need to use them all and let them blend as one, as each contributes to the whole we learn.
These practice sessions, like our last review, are centered around a central theme, which we start and end each lesson. It is this: I am not a body, I am free, for I am still as God created me. The day begins and ends with this, and we repeat it every time the hour strikes, or we remember it. In between, we have a function that transcends the world we see. Beyond this, and a repetition of the special thought we practice for the day, no form of exercise is urged, except the deep relinquishment of everything that clutters up the mind and makes it deaf to reason, sanity, and simple truth.
Beautiful. Mm-hmm. This is a very important sentence, the next one, right? Well, attempt to go beyond all words. A special form of practicing for this review, yeah? We just really want to experience ourselves without all the programming that we received. Make sense? Like we're just programmed. And when we lift that off, you just remember who you are. It's that simple. We'll attempt to get beyond all words and special forms of practicing for this review. Anybody would like to continue there?
For we attempt this time to reach a quickened pace along the shorter path to the serenity and the peace of God. We merely close our eyes and then forget all that we thought we knew and understood. For so is freedom given us from all we did not know and failed to understand. I am not a body, I am free. I am still as God created me.
Yes, you are.
There is but one exception to this lack of structuring. Permit no idle thought to go unchallenged. If you notice one, deny its hold and hasten to assure your mind. It's very important. Hasten to assure your mind that this is not what it would have. Then gently let the thought which you denied be given up in sure and quick exchange for the idea we practice for the day. I am not a body, I'm free. I am as love created me.
Beautiful.
When you are tempted, hasten to proclaim your freedom from temptation as you say, "This thought I do not want. I choose instead." And then repeat the idea for the day and let it take the place of what you thought. Beyond such special applications of each day's idea, we will add but a few formal expressions or specific thoughts to aid in practicing. Instead, we give these times of quiet to the teacher who instructs in quiet, speaks of peace, and gives our thoughts whatever meaning they may have. I am not a body, I am free. I am still as God created me.
To him I offer this reward for you. I place you in his charge. Let him teach you what to do and say and think. Each time you turn to him, he will not fail to be available to you. Each time you call to him to help you. Let us offer him the whole review we now begin. Let us also not forget to whom it has been given. As we practice day by day, advancing towards the goal he set for us, allowing him to teach us how to go, trusting him completely for the way, each practice period can best become a loving gift of freedom to the world.
Beautiful.
For I am not a body. I am free. For I am still as God created me and you.
Mm.
I call upon God's name and on my own. The name of God is my inheritance. Sorry, the name of God is my deliverance from every thought of evil and of sin, because it is my own as well as his. I am not a body. I am free, for I am still as God created me.
Yeah. for. Thank you, darlings. See you, Anthony. Thanks for coming, brother.
Thank you.
Did anybody want to talk about how they're going with the lessons or anything? Today's Sunday here, Saturday we have a bit of an extended period. If there is anything that you'd like to share? Dennis, you wanted to talk about something?
Oh, nothing in particular. I wanted to listen first, Cole, to what was said, if there was anything uh, to be said about my participation maybe in the class.
Yeah.
And that's what I understood.
Mm. Your participation. What do you mean by that?
Well, you sent me an email, a little
Oh, yeah.
voicemail. And
Yeah, I
I
mean,
only go ahead.
yeah, I was just talking about basically what we're addressing in here, that it's all about being sort of this lesson supposed to generate an experience in us. Like when we read these words, that's why we're going so slow. So we have like an inner experience. Yeah. And that's the main aim here. Seek only the experience and do not let theology delay you. It's like a basic premise of what I understand the course does. Like empty our mind, and from that place, something else arises in us. And that's the part of us that can unite with each of you. We unite in that. And yeah, there's no problem with participation. Sometimes, sometimes I was just addressing that there is sometimes this very deep space, and when we start talking to it, suddenly it just breaks the unity a little bit. That's all. So just like saying, hey, let's just slow down. And I guess that's how I was addressing. None of it is wrong, and we can talk, we can chat as much as we want to. But this is always about going like, see, we can lift from this thought system of ego, that the mind talking, and then remember who we truly are. That makes sense what I'm saying?
Yeah, I understand. I couldn't hear you.
Oh,
The air conditioner just came on. Did you ask me if I understood?
no, I'm just asking if you understand what we're doing. That's all. Looks like we have a
Well,
communication
I mean,
breakdown.
understand it.
Yeah, say something.
Yeah, but I'm not really. So you mean understand what you just said? Do I understand that you're trying to come to a place where the words don't matter anymore and you're just quiet together?
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with saying something, but it's just tune to the room. And sometimes I mean, this is not you, this is just generally the messages, because sometimes we're in a very quiet place, and then sometimes some people come in with something that's just so a little bit out of place. So I'm just saying, like, having this sensitivity to tune into the space that we generated. No, that's all I was trying to address. Is this any useful, guys?
Anybody else have anything to share?
What I found in paragraph 5 of the review is it says, when you say this thought, I do not want, and it goes to permit no idle thought to go unchallenged. This is really lovely. If you notice one, deny its hold and hasten to assure your mind this isn't in its best interests.
Mm-hmm.
That thought, if you hold on to it. It's a really lovely little line that's tacked into that paragraph. Tell your mind it's part of the journey and part of the practice.
That sums it up.
Mm.
Beautiful.
You've got to be your own advocate in a way. And it's only this morning reading this, I thought, yeah, That's what I need to do, is just take a moment and say, well, yeah, I can't say it any other way, but it really resonated with
Take
me.
a moment and say what? I couldn't hear you, Teresa.
It's just essentially Dennis saying, there's in the practice, if you experience a thought that's really not a loving thought, just take a moment, and the mind has resistance. I remember Cole saying one day the mind is very fixed, it doesn't like change.
Mm.
So you've got to be your own advocate to say to it, but this is part of the journey and it's okay to change your mind and make a different choice. Are you with me, Dennis?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, and it just says that if you notice one thought, deny its hold and hasten to assure your mind that this is not what it would have. And I think that's what it's that's how it comes across to me.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, yes, I need to take that moment and say, this is okay. Change is good and you can make another choice.
Mm.
Yeah. Thank you for listening, anyhow.
Oh, sure. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, beautiful.
Yeah, it's very beautiful, the words in the review. And it was interesting, Cole, because I listened to your recording of the review before the lesson. And because I was thinking, I think I need to listen to that every day.
Yes.
And then when you suggested reading it every day, I thought, oh, that's fantastic. Because I, for one, I don't know, I have great intentions, but I do not remember every hour, and I do not remember to meditate for 15 minutes
In the morning.
in the morning and at night. And this is a way of perhaps helping me with that. And I know there's no right or wrong,
No.
that it's okay. It's just keep on swimming.
Yes, beautiful. That's beautifully said too. And like for me, I sometimes did this course. One of the years I did it just briefly, not very specifically. And then one year I discovered this little application on my phone. I bought a application with A Course in Miracles on it, and it had this little timer on it. And I thought, I'm going to try what it's like to do what he actually says to do. So every day he says, do 10 minutes, then I would do 10 minutes. If it said, do it as often as possible, I would have two alarms going on, like reminding me every 7 minutes. Like, I went obsessed with it, like 1 year. But that was the year when everything happened. And also I realized one thing, and this was 27 years later. So I've been doing this for 27 years when I got this application. And I realized in not doing it the way he suggests, and I went pretty anal about it. I was like, there was like no period that was missed, basically. I went full time, Course in Miracles, right? And that was the year when everything went different. But that was also the year when I realized I've never really applied the lessons.
Yeah.
I never really actually applied them. I read them, and sometimes I read them just like, okay, let's just read this thing. Let's just get through this, Oh gosh, that's a long lesson, But this year I went, I'm just going to take every word and I'm going to become it. And this is where like the major shift occurred, where the perception virtually vanished.
Yeah.
And that inner kingdom arose. I mean, it's individual. I'm not saying this is how it's supposed to be, but I do say if I actually do what he says, then the course will begin to work, because the mind will preoccupy your mind and it will invent any form of stuff not to do this. I mean, that is the ego, it's just like, let me take you somewhere else. This is really important. Let's go and have a cup of tea now. It's like the next minute you're out.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also comes to a point where you realize that not a good thoughts or bad thoughts are the difference. All the thoughts are perception. All of them. So try sometimes let go. Decide like I'm just gonna let go of everything I think I know, everything I think I understand. Let it all go, all of it. And notice what happens. There is a relief somewhere. It's almost like this burden falls off me when I let all of it go.
Mm.
The whole thought system. There is in teacher's manual, there's this like a question. So like, what does the word mean in healing? Actually says they don't mean anything at all. Just like the first lesson, nothing I see means anything. Why? Because I have given everything I see all the meaning that it has for me. And therefore, I do not understand anything I see. And so these thoughts do not mean anything. And when there is almost like when one can be in this place where thoughts don't come, the thoughts turn into presence. Like, yeah. And this is what I'm so big on feeling, because the more I feel, the less I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. The more I feel, it's almost like the feeling was missing in us. And when that returns, the mind stops thinking. You don't have to try to stop it.
Mm.
But these practices help me to kind of like to lose the value of thinking, because it was like in this world, what you know is so important, right? And then suddenly not knowing anything was just so beautiful. So yeah.
Very freeing.
Very freeing, and I totally dig it. I actually listen to that. I listen to that review every single day as well.
Yeah.
And it could be while I'm cooking or, while I'm doing stuff, going for a walk. Because every single time I hear it, I hear something else. Like this beautiful sentence hit me. It's like, watch this. Each would be enough to release you and to the world from every form of bondage. And then it says, watch this, and invite the memory of God to come again.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
a memory. It's just a memory we've forgotten under the layers of mad ideas, even the good ideas, right? That covers the memory of God, because the God does not understand words. And so our words are made up by separated minds to keep us in the idea of separation. So the training really is to dislodge the mind from its structure, from its bondage to this madness, that no matter what we use with it, it's of this world. Like Jesus said, my kingdom is not of this world. Hello? My kingdom is not of this world, and it never will be of this world. However, when we remember, when the memory of God comes in, you will still walk this world, but you just don't get fooled by your thoughts.
Mm.
And also perception will get purified if every thought is given to the Holy Spirit, which is the spirit of wholeness within us, which everyone has. It's not like I don't have it and I have to get it. It's there, but needs to be used for it to be alive. So there's so much in this review, so many beautiful words that just help us to remember again. Review 6, yeah. Actually, every review. And you know what? Just from my experience, reviews, I always try to avoid them. I never liked them. And when I was translating the course into Slovakian 4 years ago, I could follow people, I was recording the lessons in Slovakia, and every time it came to review, the numbers of viewing was very low. I knew people were gone, and as soon as we went into the text, because it entertains the mind, suddenly the numbers went up. So the reviews are sometimes not that popular, but they are extremely powerful.
Yeah.
Because it kind of narrows down everything. It needs to be narrowed down to virtually nothing when everything disappears, and the memory of God just dawns on you. Like, like just because we lost this memory, it doesn't mean it's still not there. It's fully in there. We just have to pause this mad thinking so that dawning of the mind of God, memory of God just comes in and goes, hello, Cole. Remember me? I am El Dada.
One of my favorites.
And then you become so indescribably happy because you returned home. It's just it's so simple that actually makes you laugh. It's like it's not complex. Like this course seems to be so complex, and so like, what is he saying? I don't understand, but it's really simple. He even says it. This is a simple course, but not until it becomes simple. Yeah, go ahead.
For me, it's just like an ongoing seduction that is deeper all of the time. The foundation of which is self-forgiveness. So sort of increasing ease of just that letting go of my bullshit when I fall into bullshit. Because like as humans, we fall into bullshit because that's what the misappropriated mind will do.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't matter because that's part of humanness. And so just crack on with the love. But it's like I'm constantly seduced.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
And it's intensely beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And delicious.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like the highest form of deliciousness that makes all other deliciousness so much more delicious than it could ever be without this highest deliciousness.
Mm. Yeah. Beautiful.
Sometimes I understand what a particular sentence says, like, or I'm drawn to it, like, I am not a body, I am free, for I'm still. And that still catches me, like it means that,
yes,
for me, that I'm not running away and creating all these new ways to find what is just still, to just be still. That's what it says for me. And even understanding that it doesn't change anything. The words do not change anything for me. In other words, I'm not, and even like talking about it, I can see this I. Just to let myself be whatever it is, like to discover something about it without all this, like you said earlier, knowledge. I mean, yeah, I thought, wow, that's a pretty good catch. Still doesn't really mean yet, it means still. But so what? I mean, for me, I realize that I just want to discuss everything. I pull it out to its furthest, most intimate meaning. And I'm never at peace. Because everybody that says something, not everybody, but you know what I mean. Each time someone discusses something, I just see, well, but there's I. They're using I. Well, how many I's are there? And just never, never really just say, yes, yes. So that's what I ask you to just, when I'm wherever I am and however I'm saying it, maybe you could just help me let myself be and see what kind of quiet comes from that.
Mm. Mm.
That's beautiful, Dennis.
Mm.
It means giving up my identity.
Mm.
That's what it is.
Mm. Mm. Well, it's a tough one because you can say I and think of the I of the ego, but then there is the I am that
Mm-hmm.
I am
Mm-hmm.
God. To still say I am, although there's no such attachment to the I. In a way, it kind of disappears. It's yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Mm. It's yeah. It's almost like in this moment, who is the I? That's the real I. If you could now help me, God. Show me my true inheritance.
Do you know, in the Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard,
Mm.
the first paragraph is talking about I am, and it's that very concise, for me, profoundly all-encompassing way of bringing into easy awareness the I amness is all of creation. It's
Mm-hmm.
just which aspect of all of creation we are identifying with. But like just Dennis, if you're interested, that it's a little book. It just, yeah, I find it very helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Neville Goddard?
Yeah.
Yes, darling.
Yeah. Feeling is the
Never got
secret.
a,
No.
Feeling is the secret. Hello.
yeah,
That's it. And there is another one called 12 Disciples. It's one of these best articles I've ever read in my life. It's just like A Course in Miracles, but just takes it from a different perspective and talks about the disciples as qualities in you that if you develop them, you become a real disciple. And that's without those discipleship, you can't sustain the love awareness. You might have a moment
yeah,
of love awareness, but you can't sustain it. And it's just the way it's described. Each disciple of these 12 disciples have certain qualities in them, and we need to learn how to develop those. And such a beautiful read, that article. Do you know that one, Donnie?
no, darling. Who is it by, my love?
Never got it.
Oh, wow.
Never got it. 12 disciples. I can post it. I can post an audio of it on a thing. It's
I
just
adore that.
wonderful. It's only 5 pages, but
Mm.
I tell you,
I love.
you can spend on each disciple a little moment until you become the disciple. It has to happen in you. There's no point of celebrating Jesus or his disciples or any holy people if it's not happening to you. What will be the
Yeah,
point?
I love that.
Yeah. Oh, it's so exquisite. I'll post it on a thing, hey, if anybody resonates to that.
Totally resonates.
Yeah, I love Neville's work. Mhm.
For me, it really helps when, and has and does and does, when it's almost like there's a there's a like a visual roadmap that supports the feeling. So the feeling is what matters, but almost to understand the framework.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
more parts of, yeah, for me that I find that really helpful. But for me, it's that I don't know why I am this way, but since I was a little girl, I've been obsessed with love.
Mhm.
So ultimately, that that inner muscle, that love muscle, it's like it's back to its devotion.
Yeah.
But if that wasn't there in that way, the expansion wouldn't be the same. But
Mhm.
it's like that's what I'm bowing to eternally. It's that devotion to love.
Mm. Well, your emotional intelligence is well developed. You had it naturally from as a child, you know, and I think this is the key. For me, this course is nothing a course in feeling, because he says, slow down, repeat the lessons to yourself slowly. First 50 lessons, almost everyone has this sentence: repeat the lesson to yourself slowly. When you start speaking slowly, the feelings have more chance to begin to reflect your thinking. So then the thought becomes flesh. Make sense? These thoughts
Okay.
become an experience. Seek only that and do not let theology delay you. So any kind of analysis or interpretation of A Course in Miracles are basically an escape mechanism. Yeah, each sentence should generate something in you, even if it pisses you off. Fine. That's what it needs to do. It needs to ignite in you this state of emotionality so you can release what you're holding emotionally, so you can flow again. You can be free. So mind training is really, your mind becomes so trained that it becomes present for feelings rather than judgmental. You stop condemning yourself for what you feel. You will go like you fall in love with what you feel. And when you do that, your feelings feel so loved for the first time ever, and they begin to blossom in you. And that is the awakening. It's just like it comes from the bottom up, all the way down your feet. You just suddenly have this flow. Everything is feeling itself. And you don't even go like, oh, this is a good feeling or a bad feeling. It's a flowing feeling. So feeling is the secret.
Yeah.
I think, Donnie, you have that emotional intelligence is not taught at school, in schools. And some people have it naturally, but it gets killed. But it's really the key.
Yeah.
Yeah, the at one man has to happen between your thought and your feeling. Suddenly you
Yeah.
become one with your feeling and one with your thoughts. And so there is no separation within. And from that whole place, you remember God. You remember yourself, really. So that feeling self, super important.
And I found it really amazing, like in all the moments in my life when I felt so lost, still love was doing its thing. It's amazing.
Yeah.
that was always, even though there was all this big storm going on around, it's like there was this rudder, and the rudder was always going, honey, it's just love.
Yeah.
But then now it's not a little rudder, it's the big raging whatever that it was at the start before I had to get lost to remember the profundity of remembering God or love, having gone through and going through always, but like the human storm to then be so much better able to serve a death. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's fucking amazing.
It is amazing.
Mm.
By the way, Chantal says her apology. She was at the markets today. So she said she probably not going to be able to join. She said hello at the beginning, but she had to go.
Please give her a love.
Yeah.
Hope she had the best time at the market. Bet she did. I'm
She
jealous.
does. She's good. She's so amazing.
Yes, she is.
Mm. Well, there we go. If you guys want to, we could read that Neville Goddard together sometime, maybe next Sunday or something.
I'd love that.
Yeah? I go through
Yeah,
it.
I'd love that.
It's really powerful. We could maybe do it like just after the morning lesson.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Yeah?
Amazing.
Because it's so aligned with the Course in Miracles. It's just like spectacular. And just the language he uses. And this was written like, I don't know, like in 70s or 60s even, you know? And you
Wow.
go like, wow, this is a level of thinking that's just so beautiful. And, you know, like for me, it's just suddenly put the whole Bible into like such an amazing perspective. You know, he's basically saying every character in the Bible is all about you. You are all of them. You know, like I keep saying, like we're the sum of all things, you know. We have all these different qualities that are in conflict and war, you know. The part of us that killed the Christ, which is the like the Herod part of ourselves, which is the mind, you know. We have this Mary, which is our feeling self. Like when you're starting to see that the Bible is all about just you, and that you have in you everything, including God, that is not outside of us. It's just exquisite how it's written. So maybe we do that next Sunday if majority is into it.
I'd love it. Thank you.
Just the one-off because it's so aligned with the Course. All right, darling.
And I would like to just say thank you, Cole and all, because yeah, just to feel it out is as it says, seek only the experience. But in all my years of being a student of A Course in Miracles, just to feel it out as we do is the most profound for me and the most transformational.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Beautiful.
Feelings mutual, Donnie.
Thank you, darling. Beautiful to be with you all. It's very beautiful.
Yeah, very beautiful. It's nice to see you back, Dave. Say hello to Annie, by the way.
Will, nice to be back.
Oh, hi.
When will Annie be back?
I'm not sure. I don't have an answer.
Mm.
All right, darlings, we're done. Anybody else would like to say anything? Thanks, Dave. All right.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you,
Thank
guys.
I'd
you.
like
Thank
I'd
you,
like
guys.
to say I'd like to say that I love you.
Love you too, Donnie. Love you, everyone.
Love
Bye.
you guys.
Thank you,
See you
darling.
later. Ciao. See you
Beautiful.
tomorrow. Ciao.
Bye.
Manana.
Ring.